Okay, welcome back to day 11 or lesson 11. We stopped off when we were talking about restaurant food and groceries, and we're moving forward now to continue working on our budget. Like I said, this could take you a couple of days. The more detail you have, the more beneficial that budget will be for you. So scroll down here, and we're at the bottom of the spreadsheet. We're going to move to automobiles. And here, this is what it's broken down to. Whether or not you have a car payment, let's say you have a car payment for $225, and every month you spend $50 in the gas. The prices of gas, you really don't spend it too often. You obviously don't drive too far, but either way, be as accurate as you can possibly with this as well by going back, looking through your finances, see what you're actually spending at the gas station. And I don't mean just at the pump. That's what I'm looking for here, not the snacks that you might pay by credit card inside. When you go to the gas station, it's important that you pay at the pump. Why? It keeps you from going inside and spending money on little snacks that you really probably don't need at the time. Um, so stay outside, pay at the pump. This ensures that you're only getting gasoline. Also, a couple of safety tips. When you are paying at the pump, make sure that you get a receipt and you hit cancel when you're done, just so nothing stays on the system and someone doesn't pull up and able to charge on your account as well. Now, your automobile payment will probably be the same thing every month. Now, this is a relatively low auto payment. The gasoline, that may change. In the summer, you may drive more, so this needs to be kept up month by month. Um, Also, with your automobile payment, a quick tip that we had on destroyyourdebt.com, the debt issue. Call up if you're making payments and see if you can make two payments a month instead of one. And I don't mean two $225 payments. I mean split the payment into making it every 2 weeks. Because if you do that, you could literally take off 9 months off of the life of a 5-year loan. And it's paid off faster. And I explain that in the debt lesson. The same with your mortgage. Sometimes it's, your monthly budget then would be the same, but you'd be paying every 2 weeks and speeding up the process. So, like I said, go before. I can't recommend this enough. Just to do the session on debt. We have a lot of tips on there on how to save money. Because when you're trying to rebuild your credit, the more money you have, the faster you can rebuild it by paying down the debts. Next, look at the maintenance. And this usually isn't every month. You don't change the oil every month and do maintenance on your car every month, but the months that you do, you may want to put in here. And instead of maintenance, you can always click this and type in, let's say, oil change this month, and then put in whatever the cost of the oil change was if you had one. Okay. Now on Destroy Your Debt, we have, whoops, oh boy, wait, cancel that. I'm sorry when it's recording the screen, it doesn't work that well. Okay, ways to save money. And on here I have ways to save money on gas. Now, before you go and get gas, other than reading the tips on how to save yourself some money on gas, scroll down and go to Gas Buddy. For your lowest gas prices, click this link. It will open up into a new window which Gas Buddy is on there. This shows you the lowest prices in your area. Type in your zip code. In this case, I will put in 5. And find yourself where the lowest gas prices are in your area. Right here, it's saying that on Ogden it's $3.49 a gallon. Now, you may be against buying gas, regular gas, and you may want to find premium gas. So click this area here where you have some premium. Be honest, and that's the 93 octane or so forth. Sam's Club, Costco, Thornton's. This is where you get a better chance. Or if you're into diesel. So there's always ways here. There's trip cost calculators, fuel log books, all types of things you can use on this site. It's a great resource to have when you're looking to save any extra money whatsoever. And then make sure you read all these tips because there's a lot of things that can help you out as well. Okay, so we've looked at the automobile, and now we're moving to automobile insurance or homeowners insurance. Well, let's say you have your rental insurance, and in that case you're paying $25 a month. because we're renting. And auto insurance, let's say you're paying $50 a month. You may not include anything healthcare, dental, or life. If you have them, put them in. I'm not going to put in anything here. Even if you have healthcare, um, remember we're not going off of your gross. So if you have health insurance with your employer, and they're taking it out of your check before you get your check, obviously, then that's out of your gross pay and not out of your take-home pay. So there's no need to put it again in here. These are the things that I was talking about, to not repeat doing. All right. Also, once again, on your insurance, there's ways to save money on insurance as well here on the website. There's tips on how to save money, shop for insurance. There's links here to Geico and Liberty Mutual. Keep your credit report from the agencies. This is one of the things that they do go off of your credit with insurance. So once you've fixed your credit, you may, now it's not a hard inquiry, but you may want to look at insurances or insurance rates again because they go off your insurance. So there's some great tips on there to save money. Next will be your education. And I don't mean, if you're going to school now, then put that in. Or if you have children that are in school now, put that tuition in. But this isn't student loans. That's going to be on debt. So don't put in your student loans here. Just put in any tuition that you may be going to college right now. Maybe you have financial aid. So if you have financial aid and you're taking loans, don't put that in as your tuition because it's really not calculating. Those loans are in deferment until you graduate. So it's not calculating here unless you're paying on top of the loans, or paying down some of it as you're going to school to pay down some of your tuition, which is a very smart thing to do. But in the meantime, only if you are paying tuition do you want to put something in here. Same with clothing. This will have to be done at the end of the month. Whether or not you wrote a check or you paid cash, and each month, maybe this month you bought jeans, and those jeans had cost you, I don't know, $50. I don't know what kind of jeans you could get nowadays for $50, but for example, that's at the end of the month. So next month, are you going to have any clothes in your budget? If you have children like I do, I have to put in a monthly clothes budget. I have 2 children. They grow unbelievably fast. They grow out of clothes, plus the change of seasons. Don't think you're not going to purchase clothes. If you're single or if you're married and you guys don't have and you don't have any children, then you probably don't need to purchase clothes that often, unless it's especially while you're trying to fix your credit and you get out of debt. You need to hold off. There's a lot of great places you can buy clothes. Go to some Goodwill stores or secondhand stores where they could get clothes. And do that in nicer neighborhoods, because you'd be surprised on how many things people will donate to charity that are perfectly good and designer names that you could get for a very low price. But that's in the debt area, so make sure you watch that. Okay, major purchases. Well, maybe you have a vacation. Maybe you plan on going on vacation or plan on buying some furniture or eventually purchasing an auto. This is a great area where you can create some savings. So you might not be going on vacation till next December, but put it into your budget now to pay $200 every month towards your vacation. So when December comes, make sure you put that money into a savings account as well. But when vacation comes, you'll have some money saved up for a vacation or for an auto purchase or any type of improvements you want in their house. This allows you to save, and it also helps you with postponing instant gratification. That seems to be in our society, instant gratification. We need everything now. This delays your gratification, which then will help you in the long term in controlling your expenses. Recreation. Let's say you have a club membership, you go to exercise. I always say stay at home and exercise. Get some exercise videos. You don't need to go to a health club to exercise to get yourself in shape. But if you go to a health club and it's something that you like, make sure you put your dues and what that costs in there. Then there's any type of other expenses that you may have that you didn't fit in. They don't really fit into any other category, but it might be a hobby or something you purchase on a monthly basis that you know, aren't considered like groceries. Maybe you smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to preach to you to quit smoking, but let's say you smoke cigarettes, put those in other expenses because they are an expense and they're really not considered food. So you still have to categorize them, and nowadays they're so expensive they really need to be categorized and kept track of because this is little latte money or money that disappears on you. So if you have them, put it in here, and now we move into debt. Now we did this example as if you're renting. If you aren't renting, then go back and get rid of rent, or if you went right away and put in your mortgage payment as your rent, well, make sure you don't put it in both places. Let's say you do have a mortgage at 1200 and you'd put your auto loan here. Now, automobile, remember when we went over here to autos, we put in automobile 1. This would have been the loan payment to automobile 1. Either you put it in there or you put it in here, depending on what you want to keep track of. It is considered a debt payment. Both of them are considered debt payments, as well as your student loans if you have them, and your credit cards or payments that you're making on your credit cards that we're really working on getting taken care of. So if you're putting it, this is the only area on the spreadsheet for credit cards. So if you have credit card payments, put them in here. If you have an auto loan, either put it here or with the autos. Student loans, this is the only payment here. Remember I said on education, do not put your tuition unless you're in school now. Well, that wouldn't be considered student loans. And then if we scroll back to the beginning where we have your household, well, this case we put our rent in here. So if this was a mortgage that you decided to put in that had the taxes included in escrow, then you've already have them put in. It's not necessary to put them in a debt payment. If you want to categorize those to keep better track, then remove it from that area and put it into here, because all it's really going to do is affect your summary of what your debt payments. These are your living expenses, and if you have a mortgage and a car payment, those are part of your living expenses, but they're debt. No matter what, you have to pay them. They're like a fixed cost. Whereas if you're renting, you can move to a cheaper apartment. If you don't have a car, or if you have a car that's paid for, there's some fixed expenses compared to that for vehicle stickers and so forth, and insurance, but unless there's a payment, it's put in there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, notice how it has our total living expense. I'm going to change this around. Actually, I'm going to take this out in this one. I'm going to put 0 here because maybe you don't have, and I'm going to zero that out all the way through. Now look at how much nicer your life is if you had no mortgage payment. Now you have $1,200 in disposable income that you could, see, that's the goal that we want to get to. Is be able to pay off your house and pay off your cars, and then you truly have financial freedom. And that's, if you take the debt class, that's what we teach you how to do there, and anywhere from 5 to 7 years. And fortunately, we're going to have to put the mortgage payment in someplace, so we'll put it in here. We don't have a second mortgage in. Let's say our car payment was $225. Well, if we don't go in here and remove this car payment, then we have a double car payment. So be careful. Gasoline, obviously, we'll keep that in there because it's not debt. Gasoline is something that you can change monthly. You could drive more or less. And student loans, we might not have any. And then if you do have credit card payments, put them in here. So let's say we have one that's a minimum $25 payment. So let's scroll back, and if you see down here, there's a jump that you can jump all the way back. And now what we're looking at is we have a disposable income of $1,493, but unfortunately we have debt payments of $1,450. So our accelerated margin, or ammunition towards this debt to pay off debt, is only $43 a month. So in this case, we are living paycheck to paycheck. You get an extra $43, and that could be spent on anything from lottery tickets to, one extra dinner out. If you have, when your spreadsheet comes like this in your budget, we really need to go over your budget with a fine-tooth comb. How do you do that? Well, now you know where the money is going. That's why it's so important to be accurate. All right? Don't start going into here and increasing your monthly income. You can always increase your monthly income by getting another job and picking up another income. But remember, that's going to come with expenses. The key is to control your expenditures right now. not to look for new income, because with income costs go up as well. You're going to have to eat more, you have to take more lunches, you have to drive more, whatever the case is. Unless it's investment income, which you'll end up having to pay taxes on, the key is controlling your inflows and outflows of money first. That's why we're creating the budget. So yes, sure, you can put in, all right, I'll work extra overtime and that will give us a break this month. But if you don't control those expenditures, it's not going to do you any good. Well, look at, we don't have anything in reserves. Household. Well, we put this on a budget. Electric company, same with gas. Telephone company. Well, we have our cell phones on our home phones. Well, what if we got rid of our home phone? What if we put a zero here? Now how do we look? Well, let's go back to the summary. Hey, now we have $81 a month. Do we really need those two phones? I always tell everybody this as well. Cable company, you have internet and cable. Get rid of cable. Now this is being generous. Most cable and television is more expensive than $65. You can also get an antenna with digital receivers and high def channels now and have that installed for a one-time cost and get public television like they used to. You don't need all of that. Go to Redbox, rent a movie for $1 if you need to see a movie. You don't need to watch the rest of the stuff. My concern is, do you want to watch other people get rich, or do you want to get rich yourself? And if you want to get rich and out of debt yourself, get rid of the television. Right there now we have $146. That's how much we've cut out of the budget. I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, I can't live without television. Yes, you probably can't live without television, but I challenge you to try to live without television and see what happens. And I'm not saying just don't go watch the television. I'm saying disconnect the televisions altogether and then see. Because with your extra time, you'll be spending it either searching the internet and watching TV on there, which would really defeat the whole purpose, but it would save you money. Or you'll be looking at ways to make extra money, start reading books, start building your mind, maybe decide you're going to go back to school or get into something you're more interested in, or create some kind of hobbies, find some kind of hobbies, exercise more, spend more time with your family and friends. Television has been destroying lives since its inception. Okay, that's why they call it the boob tube, because you sit in front of it like a boob and do nothing. Get rid of the television and see how successful you can become with other things. And then when you say, I don't have time to work out, I don't have time to exercise, or Jeff, I don't have time for a second job, get rid of the television and see how much time you have. Also, get rid of the phone. If you're not on television, you're probably on a phone. Okay, internet, you could always look for a cheaper internet provider, but sometimes that's a little bit difficult. Food. Is this how much you literally can save on food? Did you go to coupons.com or say, I don't cut coupons? Remember, think of it this way. Every coupon you cut and save is cash in your pocket. Cash that can help to pay down the debts on your credit cards and your credit reports and old bills, or cash that you could be saving to get and obtain to financial freedom. Car payments. Well, is this the lowest you can go on gas? At $50 it probably is, but maybe you decide that you live in a city, you don't need a car. Boy, that'd be nice. Then you don't have a car payment. Homeowners insurance. Shop around for insurance. Bundle your insurance policies together. Try to find any discounts you can on insurances. There's so many insurance companies fighting for your business that is, if you don't have accidents, if you never had claims, you can get cheaper insurance. Education. Well, we don't have any in here. If you do, that's probably a great investment. I'd stick with that. Did you really need that pair of jeans for $50? Maybe you did. I don't know. If you have kids, you're going to need to look for some other way. You have nothing for vacation, recreation, other, and our debt. Here's another thing key to your debt. Long term. If you have a mortgage payment, pay off half of your mortgage payment every 2 weeks instead of every month. It will cut almost 7 years off of the life of a 30-year loan by just paying every 2 weeks as opposed to paying once a month. Why? Because you're paying it off faster, the principal. Second is you're making one extra payment a year because there's 52 weeks in a year, which turns out to be 26 pay periods as opposed to 12 pay periods or 24. So actually you would get almost 2 payments. It comes out to 1 to 2 payments, extra payments towards your mortgage a year. That alone would take off 7 years onto your mortgage. And in this case, we had no cash withdrawals, and these extra spreadsheets at the end are more for your own doing. All right. So what we have here is your total income. Your living expenses are $1,400. Your disposable income, which means it does not include your debt payments, is $1,596. Your debt are $1,450, and you have $146 into your accelerated margin, or money that you can spend on yourself. You can do whatever you choose with it. I suggest you pay down your debt with it and help rebuild your credit so that we can start building your wealth in the long run. Alrighty, well, that is it for this lesson. Hopefully these 2 days you've put together a great budget. The keys to this are: 1, be honest with yourself when you're creating this budget. 2, once the budget is created, look for ways to save money. Use the resources on the website as well to try to find ways to save money. Okay, on household items we have here, save on your mortgage, how to pay that down quicker. Plus, we have a wonderful thing of free stuff. Go on to free stuff. You could sign up here for freebies. Okay, you could. All of these are links to sites that give away free stuff. That go on, see what you can do. Go on to sites like Saveology where you can save money on things. Buy with me. You promise if you have student loans. Anything I have up here is to try to save you money and get you to some financial freedom, because eventually we'll have courses up here that are going to be on how to make money, entrepreneurial spirits, and how to build your wealth all together. Alrighty. Well, thanks again for day 10, and we will see you tomorrow and work on paying down your existing debt if you have it, and plan for that. Thank you, and good night.